understand that I'm not going to have an audience necessarily even right away. And I'm sitting in a park, actually, and you can see the beautiful autumn colors. It's actually really, really pretty. And I'll probably end up repeating myself, but for sake of the video, I'm just going to record it. And if somebody comes on, they come on, and if they don't, they don't. That's okay. There we go. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is because today, October 27th, actually represents somebody's come on. Hello to whoever you are. If I know you, please say hello. I'm kind of just started talking to myself. Hello, this is Alicia, and I'm sitting in a park with the beautiful... Ah! Hello, David. Thank you. Oh, Benji. Oh, I'm not loud enough. Okay, thank you. I will talk louder, and I will put my... Is that better? Is that better, the sound? It's at my max. Hi, Matthew. Oh, I'm feeling the love. Oh, okay. I can move it closer to me, but then it's just a headshot. Maybe I could speak louder. So I'm sitting in a park in Toronto. Beautiful autumn colors, as you can see. Gorgeous. And the reason why I thought I'd have this go live is, as some of you know, okay, good, thank you, is today represents 1 year of having gone vegan. So I'm past, yesterday was my last day of last year. It's a trip around the sun. And I just thought I would share thoughts and also welcome. Okay, cool. I just thought I'd share thoughts on 1 year and what the journey has been like, and also if anybody wants to jump in and say what your journey is like. And I may get emotional, not because I'm like, I don't know, it's been an emotional year. And so maybe talk about first the why, and I'd really invite to hear why, if you'd like to share in the stream why you went vegan, you know? Hold on just a second. Hold on. I'm adding, hold on, whoops. Getting a flash here. There we go. Okay, I've just added a couple of you. If you wish, you can moderate. If not, no worries, no stress. Thank you for just being here. So thank you, Matthew. Thank you. So the reason why I actually had a false start. So in around 2017, I went what I would call, I thought it was vegan in 2017. I went, okay, I'm being vegan. But really it was plant-based. And so in the end, I lasted about 8-9 months and in 2017. And I ended up gaining weight. And I was like, feverishly preparing things and everything else, and I know what my downfall was then, which is becoming a part of what I need to watch out now, which is nuts. And nuts are 30% fat. But this time around it's completely different, and I feel like I'm locked in as to this choice. And to me it's not even a choice, it's a necessity. The animals deserve it, the world deserves it, and it's the humane thing to do, it's the right thing to do. It's not being, it's not being a part of the speciesism, it's just caring. And 1 year around for me, yeah, I'm a newbie on this one, but I didn't collapse and die. And the reason why I went vegan is because I locked into this notion of, and everyone's going to be different, so I don't put it out there, this is just what really did it for me, is the notion that if you buy into this, thank you, David, smash the like button. If you buy into this notion that you are above animals or anybody else for that matter, then you're engaging in that frequency. And to me, it's no masters, no slaves. You just don't get a right to do it. You know, any sentient being deserves life. And yeah, I almost feel like I'm going into a space of a void there, because it's a full stop period. They deserve to live. And it's horrible what happens to them. And I also had no idea. So that was it. If you would like to share how and why, what was the tipping point for you, this is also a learning thing for me. 1 year in, I am so grateful to each and every one of you for what you have in supporting me and sharing with me. And also let this serve as a little bit of a legacy video to anybody watching this, maybe that are thinking about, you know, engaging in either going plant-based first and or vegan, and understanding what the tipping point for different people was. Was it the animals? Was it, you know, for plant-based, it could be nutrition. Was it what? You know, everybody's going to be slightly different. So, yeah. Okay, new person coming in there. So, for me, I actually, 1 year in, out. Oh, thank you, David. I'm just trying to share the journey, share, like, I'm pretty close still to the other side. Mercifully, I'm out of it, and just share like I get it. And we've all been there. We were raised, we were programmed, indoctrinated. If you look at the advertising, the media, if you look at the dietary recommendations by country, they recommend that pyramid, the health pyramid, and that it has animal in there. And unfortunately, it's just not necessary. You know, none of us are keeling over. None of us are weak. None of us are short in spirit. We're feeling good. And actually the opposite is that when you do engage in either plant-based or vegan, there's a whole other cornucopia of like beans and legumes and and fresh fruit and vegetables. And it's just, it opens up a whole other world, because I found in the old lifestyle, in the carnist lifestyle, that I was actually lazy, and I was raised to think that I had to have animal on each of my plates, almost like that's your protein. And I had to unlearn that and relearn, well, what is protein? Because I literally didn't know. I just thought it had to come from an animal because that's what I was raised with. I was so dumb. I didn't know, and I'm still learning. You know, and for anybody, obviously there's great support programs like Challenge 22 for people who would also benefit from learning either through budget or through lifestyle or through how to cook. You know, I have no idea how to do that. Case in point, and I'm still learning. Like case in point, was it yesterday, the day before? Hi, Mel and Steve. 1 year vegan. So I'm just talking about the collective, you know, just thoughts and what I've learned, what I've witnessed, and I would love to hear if anybody else wants to put in what was that tipping point that made you ultimately go vegan. I know there's Joey Carbstrong. I know there's Gary Yourofsky's incredible speech that has been a tipping point for many people. What's to say, so yeah, even like a couple days ago, I had like dehydrated chickpeas. So who would normally have those? I got them, I soaked them overnight, I put them in a pressure cooker for 30 minutes, and boom, you know, then you can do so much. You can make chickpea salad, you can make hummus, and in fact, I was going to make hummus, and I had 1 cup of chickpeas and the whole lot in 2 days. It's gone because they're delicious. So I think in the future, don't put it past, sorry to make you hungry. I will say this, I'm a pretty darn good cook, but I'm learning even more. Silken tofu. It was the first time I'm like, it was even shelf stable. My local farm boy didn't even have silken tofu, but it had it shelf stable. I blitzed it with some tahini and then some sumac and other little bits and bobs, and it created a little dressing in minutes. You know, this isn't a cooking show here, don't worry, I'm not gonna do that to you, but it's like just a little bit of push opens up a whole other vista, a whole other world, and your brain is working, you know, in fact, my blood work, I had issues with cholesterol. I had issues with B12, vitamin B. Yeah, was it vitamin D? Sorry. Hey, Jake. Hi, it's my 1 year. So I just thought I kind of, thank you. I feel like it's a vegan group hug. Thank you so much. I have learned and I value each and every one of you for what you do. You are all phenomenal. You are all warriors, and it's a link in a big chain in a community surrounded. It's like a global team effort in order to share this beauty and this wisdom, and know that it's actually easier to do than people realize. It's so easy. So feel free to put anything in the notes and I'll jump in. But yeah, my blood work, yeah, thank you. My blood work was better than it's ever been, which is ironic. And I had issues with vitamin D and put on some monstrous level of vitamin Ds. And what I did at the beginning is, thank you for saying smash and like, thank you so much. What I did is I wanted to get rid of all the animal in my body. I wanted rid of it. I wanted to do a massive detox, and I went pretty hard because I did, for the first 2 weeks, starting today, last year, I did 2 weeks of a water fast. So only water. And what that does is it actually puts your body, and what I'm saying is my journey, you got to do your own homework, you got to go with your own doctor, but it put my body, after about 72 hours, your body goes into something called autophagy. And autophagy, interesting, my phone just says 20%. Now it just went all down. Sorry, if it dies, it's cold and it makes lithium batteries lose life. So that's okay. Well, it'll go as long as it'll be. So I went into autophagy after 72 hours, and I'll share that. So if you're interested in it, I even went steam distilled water. I didn't even give myself a mineral. I went hardcore. And with that, after 72 hours, the only thing that you're gonna get are the hunger pangs, which you just can quell them by drinking water. There's a great guy called John Rose on YouTube, and he talks about water fasting. If anybody's interested, he's vegan. He is phenomenal, John Rose. I don't know if he's still active, but he has a phenomenal archive. He's an older guy, and he would, like, you put a younger person in him, no comparison. He is the embodiment of what, I'm not sure if he's raw, I can't remember, but he's big on juicing and big on water fasting. Benji, it could start as little as 16 hours, but I got as a gauge 72 hours, you know, so for these people that do weekend water fasts, it's kind of not really going to do it. Really, call it 16 hours, but I'm really, the guide from all the work that I did at the time was around 72 hours. And what happens after 72 hours is you don't get hungry. Gone. Hunger pangs are gone. And it's like a plane. It's like the first 72 hours are like your plane is just taking off and like, and that climb is just buffering if there's hunger pangs, and all you do is you drink the water, or I drank the water. And then at that leveling off point, your body disengages from what, headaches, I did not actually. I think I got one headache in 2 weeks. So for me, I think it's also indicative of how much you need to detox. I wasn't on coffee, so I've been off of coffee for 4 years. So I think coffee would be a big deliverer of headaches and detoxing. So that is one thing. Although at the time I did like my green tea, still do. And so, yeah, I didn't have headaches, I didn't have nausea. What I did find is I was fatigued, and that is because your body is doing a great big clean out. Think about your home, and you're coming in room by room, and it's doing a complete purge and cleaning out. So anyways, I guess I won't go on in nausea about that, but the things I saw and spoke up at Cranswick still keeps me up at night. Cranswick tried to silence you, slapped you with 15 advisor warnings, and then slapped you with two major warnings, 1 year each. Oh, wow. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, we're starting to see, we're definitely, with Mel and Steve's blurb, they were showing that the slaughterhouses are starting to have signs and lines and things like that, and they're really trying to like get in the way. I don't know how much battery I've left. Bizarrely, it was fine until I walked out. Anyways, and then after that, what I did is 4.5 months of juicing, only juicing. So if anybody, like anyone wants to talk protein or whatever else, yeah, Matt, that's awful. I'm really, really sorry to hear that. I don't know what the warnings were, if they were via like a YouTube or local legal or whatever. Yeah. So heart for Matthew. Everybody send hearts for Matthew right now. That you know, it's awful that they try to isolate you and do those things. I don't know how they tried to give you those warnings, if it was on social media or if it was some legal notice or something. And I'm assuming that's, yeah, that's in the UK, right? Hearts for Matthew. You're not alone. You're not alone, Matthew. Yeah, and then after that, I did 4.5 months of just juicing, and it was actually 95% organic juicing, like, and no fiber even, and just completely clean out the body and get it out. And then also, I'm going to admit, I'm going to cop up to this, but even coffee enemas and parasite cleanses, because if you are engaging in consuming animal products, and I even did raw milk and stuff like that, thinking it was good for me, you're bound to be getting parasites in there, and you've got to clean it out, and it can take time. So coming out the end of 4.5 months of juicing, which was phenomenal. Once you stop eating, it's a habit. These things are habits. I was completely nourished with juice, and I loved it. And then I just stopped after 4.5 months. So really, it was 5 months of liquid only for me, and that meant that I was free of any animal eating habits, any cooking habits. All of those things were gone. So, 3 weeks to a new beginning and a new habit, that was no issue to me because I'd cleaned it all out. And then now it was just slowly reworking the system so the digestive system would kick in. And I think my hang-ups now, my Achilles heel, are nuts. I have to come back on the nuts. I have not yet tried tempeh or seitan. That's things still 1 year and I haven't tried those. So look for, you guys may cook or you may buy, I don't know, but that's really fascinating. So let's just read here. Matthew is saying, Cranswick has given me the PTSD, the warnings for speaking up about people putting meat on the line after picking up off the floor and leaking tunnels that was leaking ammonia and equipment faulty. Matthew, did you work in the slaughterhouse? I'm just trying to think. Matthew, did you work on the slaughterhouse? Just say yes or no. Or were you employed? Were you in security? Did you watch? I'm not sure there. It's really fascinating. I looked up jobs for the local slaughterhouse and the wages oh yes. Oh, okay. Well, people don't like whistleblowers. Look at Aaron Brockovich. What would be really cool is if there was an Aaron Brockovich of a very big purveyor of animal products globally. And we're seeing one with Joey Carbstrong and Saputo. I'm not going to make this all about Saputo. It's really fascinating because they're big guns. The worst 3 years of my life. Yeah, you need to, if you haven't had therapy and obviously Dave would be the person to speak about that. I am the head of our HOA. I'm hoping that every town, city, and community and country, I don't know what this is, HOA. Karen, I don't know what HOA means. This must be American. I'm in Canada, so please forgive my ignorance. Yeah, we're seeing with Joey Carbstrong and what he's doing with Cathedral City Cheese, which if it was happening since 2022 and then fast forward to 2025, is an assumption? Sure. Is it a likelihood or a possibility or a probability that abuse was going on in between 2022 and 2025? Yes. So how is it that Saputo is engaging? Okay, Karen, this is an animal activist and vegan platform, so it might not be your best, just a heads up, it might not be your best forum for these comments. There might be better ones for you. Yeah. But if it links in with animals and vegan, then please just let us know. David saying, thank you, Matthew, for your bravery in speaking up. Just saw Jack Humane Hancock's documentary. It was powerful. If there's a link to that documentary, David, would you mind just putting it in so then people can see that link? I don't know if I've seen that one or not. But yeah, we need to understand. And eating dogs. Oh. Okay, I don't know about this eating dogs. Okay, I don't know about the eating dogs. But it's interesting in Canada, and you guys would be really good to reach out and speak about that. David has, 15 years, David, as a Canadian food inspector. And seeing it firsthand across the slaughterhouses and across the food spectrum of fish and animals, and he's so bravely and kindly sharing with us from an insider perspective, and also to come full circle and you know, everybody has an aha moment. For me, mine came really late, hence today is 1 year. And I regret that it took me this long. And that just shows how deep this can be for people. And it's like the black sheep. You're going against the grain, not to make black sheep a bad thing, but we understand what that means. And it takes a lot to stand up and you know, when the bulk of people are coming one way and you're standing up and you're trying to say something. But I think having one-on-one conversations with people, even in the street, even in the park, this park right here, I've actually shown that 3-minute video to somebody, and most people get disturbed by it. It's like, oh, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's the thing, right? So, what's to say? On my journey, I will say that I had an ex-carnivore who has gone raw vegan. And he was my mentor, my friend through all of this. And I'm not sure I would have been able to manage it in the same way. You did do the right thing, Matthew. You did do the right thing. Let's just stop about what I'm talking about, and then, David, do you want to prompt some conversations about what it takes to speak up? Because that's where we're at right now. It's you know, it's obviously raw and live for Matthew right now, and I'm happy to have this be part of the conversation. Thank you, Miko, for subscribing. Very kind of you. Hello and welcome. It's like a group huddle. I have 10% battery, so if this just dies, I'm gonna say thank you in advance. I didn't start this with 10% battery, but it's cold, and then lithium batteries. I should do this inside. Don't like the cold. But Matthew, what was it that made you... Yeah, no? Okay. What was it that made you... Was it seeing it repeatedly, Matthew, that made you stand up? And did you go to the different people, like the different management, and you tried to say something and they silenced you, or did they threaten you lose your job, or did you end up ultimately quitting because you couldn't? Were you supported in any way? Well, I just think it's important to get all the support you need. I know it can be tough to speak to someone else, but it does help. Yeah, you're going against the grain, right? Like, people are choosing to be in those sectors because my observation, at least in Canada, is there's a lot of family-owned animal agriculture businesses. Saputo, family-owned, worth $19 billion. Our local slaughterhouse that's in Toronto, family-owned. The auction house, which is the largest auction house in Ontario, family-owned. And that's just really something right there. How do you go? But then when you think of Ocean Robbins and the Baskin Robbins family, you know, that was going against the grain of dairy, and financially being, you know, they were made with the ice cream business there with Baskin Robbins. And sorry, I'm getting some notifications. And so it takes a lot of chutzpah to kind of go up against the grain like that. Do you know Daniel? I don't know who Daniel is. So, Matthew, do you have a means of getting a hold of David? David's on Instagram, probably Facebook. Look on his LinkedIn link tree, and you'll be able to probably have a talk with David. Also, I guess, I don't know if you're engaging in some of your local communities. I think, Matthew, you're in the UK, right? And just signing up to the people around there. My warning expired, and seeing the sentient animals on the weighbridge and watching Pignorant combine didn't... Oh. They warned you. So you warned them about animal abuse that you were seeing above and beyond what was going on. And you are at risk of losing your job. Why is that not surprising? Oh, okay, you're with We the Free. Okay, I didn't realize that. And David was part of the founding part of that We the Free, right, David? I have to engage with that community. I haven't yet. And It's little by little by little. And one of the blessings that I had is I saw Mel and Steve on their live feed, which we know the story, doing live stream 2, I think it was. And then somehow on that live vertical live stream, I saw David and just said, wait a second, you're in Canada. Wait a second, you're in Toronto. Wait a second, I'm going to come down to the slaughterhouse. And if nobody's come down to a slaughterhouse, we probably have an audience right now live of vegans, and that's okay. No problem. Put 1 if you're vegan, 2 if you're interested in learning more about going plant-based or vegan, and 3 if you don't care. Then we can just see. But it's the people that may view this afterwards that can see it. And so yeah, I visited my first slaughterhouse. They tried silencing you for speaking the truth. Cranswick don't like transparency. It's big money. They have a lot of money to risk. And I have so many like octopi things, and I hope if this dies, by the way, my battery will have gone. So I thank you in advance because it's under 10% left. But even in Canada, and it'd be interesting what the government, what the legislation is like there. Hey, Jake, and in the US. But in Canada, I need to look up Bill 156 because it seems like people trying to do exposés and highlighting when they see that there's harm happening to animals in this legitimized sector. So there is harm, from what I understand. It's making it increasingly difficult. And how is that being a voice for the animals? I mean, it's not. So the global launch for We the Free, now ambassador for them. You were there for the global launch and now you're ambassador for them, David. I'm decoding that. That's phenomenal. You are such a great voice. I mean, you're such a great... What I have discovered as well in this community is that people are so giving and so kind and so supportive and so like bring you in and help you and support you and guide you, and for that's just unbelievable. Whether or not you have a question, I'm still in the part of my transitioning with the vegan, completely in it, but it's like, what do you do with the things that you have? What do you do with those, and bit by bit, I've got to figure all of that out from what I had before. So I doubt Donald Trump will be saving the animals. He's a big McDonald's guy. And even, fun fact, even the McDonald's isn't vegan, it's vegetarian. It's not vegan because the mayonnaise has egg in it. So if Donald Trump were about the animals, as you're suggesting, then get him to speak to McDonald's and at the very least launch a proper vegan sandwich, because it's not. And make sure that the French fries... Yeah, Trump isn't vegan. Of course not. He didn't say that he was vegan. He said something about he would save the animals, but no, like he's huge into McRanch. So, which obviously is not, it's not even clean. It doesn't even have it doesn't have a vegan sandwich offer. So that says it right there. Maybe they did and it didn't work, but hopefully there's an appetite for it now. I think at the very least they should do that. Anyways. Are there any questions that we should talk about here? Yeah. How many people here cook a lot and how many people buy? If you like to cook a lot, press 1. If you end up buying pre-made vegan, press 2. Even if it's salads when you're out. I'm curious how many here even prepare your own food. And did you end up, I guess everybody's different in where you are and what you have. I think some of the basic things is have a bloody good blender, like a good one. And now, even the Ninjas are a lower price point. Have a really good juicer if you can do it. And those are cold pressed juicers are available now, which are so much easier than before. I'm gonna pause because Matthew's talking. Every time they had an inspection from Tesco or Morrison's, I was moved because of what I knew. Drop Cranswick in so much trouble, they would have stopped being investor. Wow. Yeah, like when you have the biggies come into town. Cooking now, Jake, that's awesome. Actually, Zach, I had really awesome chickpeas that I actually soaked and then pressure cooked, and they were phenomenal. They're so good. Protein, really, really, really good. Yeah, you should do an interview with Matthew. Matthew, if you would be open to that, put a thumbs up, and then David knows that he can reach out to you and organize. Okay, you retracted it. But yes, it is possible if you're open to doing that. Anyways, I was talking about cooking at home. I would say have like a blender, a juicer, a steamer, a rice cooker is a really good one too, because you could even make oats in it. And okay, Matthew's up for it. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. From this, it's like, yes, do that, do that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing the intel. And that's another big name, isn't it? Yeah, and what else? I would say a pressure cooker, and make your own nut milk, rice milk, oat milk, all of those. Get a milk bag. Those are really good. What else would you guys say we should have? Zach, go on Discord. What else would you guys say in terms of items? I kind of have Martha Stewart's kitchen, I have to confess, because I just love good knife set, things like that. Anyways, I don't want to bore the everybody. Mushroom soup. Cool. Mushroom soup is cool. If you did make a mushroom soup, and you can actually throw cashews in there and arrowroot starch, and it would be creamy as if you had dairy in there without having dairy. So you just soak your cashews in advance and put like maybe a tablespoon, depending if you do a regular pot for mushroom soup, and you can put it in there, and then you can throw it in the blender, and you can make it nice and puree it really nice and smooth, and add some mushrooms on top, and it's good to go. I love making butternut squash and chickpea curry. Beautiful, because it's so darn easy, isn't it? And here's a, okay, I know I'm making this food, I'm gonna go back hungry now, but baked potatoes, they seem to take like an hour if you're trying to roast them, but if you put them in a pressure cooker, which just means put a little bit of water in there, I think I need to do a cooking show. If you put a little bit of water in a pressure cooker, and you put however many potatoes you want, and you just stab them so that they're like, they have air pockets in them, then they're ready. Yeah, you're saying it is about 45 minutes. It's 30 minutes on high pressure, and then the give or take to get them up, and then you're good to go. And you can have those ready for the next day or whatever. Add your nooch on there if you want some melted vegan cheese and whatever else on there. It's really yum. Anyways, somehow I've made this a cookery show, and I'll come back off of that. Is there anything that people, I know there's a B12 thing, and I'm not going to get into that. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. I need to do more research on that one, and for now, I think, you know, you've got to find your own thing. Is there an area that anybody found that it was a stumbling point? Okay, there you go, Zach, to join on Discord. I'm not on Discord actually, but if by chance, cool. Anyways, what else to say? So yeah, a year on for me. How many years have you guys all been vegan? Let's put that in there. I know David's been like 12 years. How many years have you guys been vegan? Zach, you know you can't eat eggs if you're vegan, and if you don't know that, then there's many a video out there that will show what happens to the chickens and how the male chicks are literally either suffocated or they're 3 years, Matthew, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the male chicks are either like blitzed, not even still in the shells. And they're because they're now raised so that you can tell by color if they're a male or a female, and then the males they're killed right away, which is just horrible. So if you eat eggs, you're supporting that, least of which what they go through. And I used to love eggs. So, you know, for some people it's like the cheese. Yeah, of course, eggs are not vegan. You know, if you use them for cooking, I think it's like chia seeds and there's egg replacer, there's ways around it. There are egg replacements out there, and you can even make, there's a lot of different tofu creations that can mimic the eggs. And there's also something called ackee, which is a Caribbean fruit, Ackee. And ackee mimics the texture of eggs. Which is really good for you too. So there's ways around everything. And it's not like, oh, we're missing out. Well, at the end of the day, think about how it's actually eggs and dairy and meat that have displaced what a normal meal should be. They have displaced it. So you're not missing anything, you're not needing anything, and all the animals are fed plants and they are injected with supplements. So anybody who says any of this crap, do your research, you know, and just fess up to the fact you're either addicted to it, you don't want to do it, you're culturalized to it, you're too lazy to do it. And Veganuary is coming up, where it's a chance for people to take a whole month to create a habit and go vegan. There's Challenge 22, which is a free resource for people. Maybe if somebody has access to that 3-minute video, to throw it up, or look for the 3-minute reason to go vegan video. Watch Dominion, watch Earthlings, watch Pignorant. There's loads of different resources out there. So anyways, well, Zach, you know, it takes, you know, if you think about a beach and a beach that has sand on it, that sand is made up of each grain of sand, if it is a grain or whatever it would be called. So each particle of sand matters. So if you take the attitude that nobody else will, so you won't, then that's not, you know, then you're a defeatist, and you can't say that you care or just be a defeatist. Like, have you tried? It takes 3 weeks to create a habit, you know, and you'd be surprised how good you feel and how it's the right thing to do to eliminate animal products. If you're still like wary and you're okay with harming animals, then go 1 day a week that you are eliminating that, or 1 meal in each day, and just see how your body reacts, and realize that you will still like live, you will still breathe, you will still have energy. In fact, it'll be better. It takes 20 minutes to digest a piece of fruit. I think 40 minutes for vegetables. It takes 8 hours to digest animal products. 8 hours. So like, think about how much you're freeing your body and energy to actually do things that you want to do when you don't even need to take the life of another in order for you to eat. It's common sense. I'm in a park and there's a man and his dog having fun here. They're playing ball, so you might hear that in the background. Yeah, and so David is saying, you know, everybody used to say the same thing about slavery, and that comes back to the very original point as to why I chose to go vegan, and I'd be curious, like, why everybody else did. Just throw your reason to have gone vegan, what the tipping point is. To me, it's the whole principle of no masters, no slaves. Because if you buy into that notion of slavery, this is my opinion, I don't project it onto anybody else, this is my own, but if you are in the frequency, this is a man and his dog having fun. If you buy into that frequency of slavery, then why should it not be turned on you? Why should you not be a slave then? And maybe you will in the end be a slave. And also, eating the flesh of another is a degree away from being a cannibal, for God's sake, because you're used to killing something, cooking something, and eating it. And some even eat it raw. What does that make you? Like, I even understand sushi, I got it. Like, some will have like a beef tartare and stuff. It's like, oh my God, you know, these things that are cultural things. So what do we say here? Everyone used to say that if you could save hundreds of innocent animals a year, why wouldn't you? The average vegan saves, from what I understand, a good 200 animals per year. So I get to now say, okay, like that's impressive. 200 animals didn't get killed, and that's per person per year for the rest of their lives. Zach's saying, I agree, I just don't believe it will stop. But then that's okay, but have you? Let's start with you, Zach. What have you done? Do you believe this? Are you vegan? Are you plant-based? Do you sincerely care? Is trying to be a naysayer and probe? You know, like, sorry, probe. It's cold here. You know, saying is fluff. You know, do something, take action. Will you commit to Veganuary, Zach? where, or even now, why don't you practice for veganuary? Practice now. Would you prepare to practice and just stop eating meat for a week or a month? Would you be prepared to do that, to show that you're not being a defeatist and in fact you believe that everybody can add up? 4% of the population is properly vegan, and then that doesn't include vegetarian, who at least is less, still not great. You know, it adds up. I think it's like 100 and what's 4% of the population? I think it's around 100. Somebody needs to do the math on the world. What I meant is I just eat vegetables and don't buy meat. Someone else is just gonna buy it. Well, you can eat noodles as a vegan. Okay, so Zach, do you eat animals? Do you eat animal products? Dairy, honey, eggs, meat? Are you participating in that right now? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you're commenting, which I appreciate, but do you eat any animal products right now? Because you're saying you eat vegetables and don't buy meat. No? Yes, I do, but I support what you're saying. Okay. Do you think you could minimize it from listening to the group here today? Do you think you could minimize it? Have you looked at Challenge 22? What's stopping you from minimizing it or stopping it? Is it knowledge? Or is it that you like the taste and you still want it? Or is it the belief that your body needs it or have it? What is it? What's the primary reason why you're still doing it, even though you're agreeing? And thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing. I appreciate that. We'll appreciate that. You may be typing an answer here if you really want to. Yeah, there's support here, Zach. There you go. There's the Challenge 22. If you really, really believe in what you're saying, it would be phenomenal to see that you go and engage in that and do some learning. You know, from when I started thinking about it 6 months out, and I just thought something's up. I think I'm going to do it. I started telling some people, and you know, I even had friends say, eat a burger right before, like the day before I was switching. And you know what? I didn't. I was already grossed out. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't need to do it. You know, and then of course you go through whatever products you may have at the house. I kind of just did. And I ended up giving the rest, like I just, you know, and just went cold, you know, you can't use the word cold turkey. These euphemisms, oh my God. But like, you just got to do it. If you have it in your head that it's wrong, that you don't need it, it's super, super, I mean, if you want me to be honest, it's because I enjoy it, but I truly do love animals. So, you know, what was the sign, David, that you and Jenny had at the Blue Jays game the other night? If you eat them, what was it? What was the sign on Jenny's, what did Jenny's sign say? It was really good. It was phenomenal, actually. But like, if you love them, why would you eat them? And there's just no reason, you know. And if you look at some beautiful videos of cows and pigs and chickens, they are so gorgeous, you know. And when they're not like in this fear-based system, and fear because their death date is already established. Yeah, read the notes from David that's on here. Thank you, David. Like, everyone's going to come at it from a different perspective, and I'm just conscious I might have to wrap up because my phone might be, I don't want it to just go. Everyone's going to come at it for a different reason. What would be the primary reason, Zach, that you think you could engage in this and consider trying Challenge 22? What would be the primary reason? If you think about it. What would compel you to do it? There we go. Thank you. So they did some outreach. David and Jenny McQueen did some outreach. We had the Blue Jays at the World Series Game 1, which we won. You guys had a phenomenal sign, and the sign had a picture of a chicken in its head, and then the Blue Jays, because the Blue Jays is like a bird head. And it said, what's the difference between them? Why love one but not the other? Why love one but not the other? I believe you. I could never work in a slaughterhouse, and just this chat is opening me up to the idea. That's brilliant. You know, you've got Matthew, who worked in a slaughterhouse and saw it firsthand. You've got David, who was an ex-inspector, a Canadian food inspector, across more slaughterhouses and farms than we would all collectively ever have any chance of ever getting into. He's seen it all. He's seen like some of the viruses. David got sick because of the air, what was going on in the air. And by the way, if you ever go to a slaughterhouse, the smell will knock you sideways. And when you open up that package of meat, it's been, what is it, David? It's had chlorinated baths and everything else. And it's just like they try to hide what's actually happened. And they're fed plants. So why are you getting secondary plants? From a nutritional point of view, you're actually better off having the plants directly. If you want a supplement, you supplement what you want, because they put all these supplements and antibiotics and everything else that may compromise your health and your body into the animals, which are, you know, it's a fait accompli.